Welcome back to Not So Pro Packer Talk, where we only talk about the Packers. And I get to talk again about how I was wrong about the Packers, of how I misjudged them. I had too much faith in them, and they let me down. And let me tell you guys, I was not ready for the Packers to lose and for the Packers season to end. I was not ready to go straight into an offseason of uncertainty. I knew it was coming, but here it is, another season of uncertainty for the Packers. What will Aaron Rodgers do? Will he retire? Will he get traded? What will the Packers do with him? What will Aaron Rodgers do? Will he want to retire? Will he want to come back? So many questions for this team going into offseason, and we're going to unpack them all throughout this offseason. Now that the Packer talk is finally out of the in-season, we get to start talking about the draft, start talking about free agency, and talk about all of our free agents that we have. The Packers have 18 pending free agents, and we'll unpack that in another episode. But we're going to quickly talk about how we lost to the Lions. And screw the Lions. I hate that team so much. MCDC, I wish you nothing but the best in your career because I like you as a person. But I cannot stand you. Oh my gosh. How do we get swept by the Lions? How? It doesn't make sense. I understand us losing in Detroit, but for the Detroit Lions to come into our house and for us to play like that, it's just disgusting. Defense played well enough. Special teams, Mason Crosby hit 3 out of 4. He's losing his leg. He's one of our pending free agents. I don't think we bring him back because of that kick he missed. If he hit 4 for 4, I think he would come back. And then our offense just looked absolutely horrible. They were sloppy. Whether it was Aaron Rodgers missing a throw or our wide receivers dropping a pass or Aaron Jones fumbling. Our offense is just so inconsistent, and I knew it was going to be bad going into the season, and I knew we weren't going to get much better, but it is the most frustrating thing to watch as a Packer fan who has enjoyed the past about 10 seasons of great offensive play. It is very frustrating. As I was saying about the offense, Aaron Rodgers is not playing to standard. And the problem with that is we're paying him so much money. So much of our cap is wraps around him and him not playing to this offense, to his MVP caliber. I don't expect him to go out there and put up the numbers he has the past 2 years. But for him to be playing like he has this year, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 12 interceptions to 26 touchdowns. That is, I think, by far his worst touchdown to interception ratio on the season. He hasn't thrown for over 300 yards in a single game. His best was 292. The last time he threw for over 300 yards was week 14 of last year. I believe in Aaron Rodgers. If he decides to come back, he is my quarterback, and I'll fully support him. But he needs to be playing better if he's coming back another year. Because if he comes back, it sends us into salary cap hell even more. And I need to see more out of him if we're gonna do that. If he comes back for another year, the Packers, there's no way they pick up Jordan Love's 5th-year option. That'll be Jordan Love's 4th and final year on the contract, and he's sitting as a backup. He'll probably want to get traded, and our whole future is uncertain. We're gonna talk more about on how our free agency is going to go and all that type of stuff in more videos. But Aaron Rodgers coming back, as much as I want him to and I would love him to, it might not be the best for the Packers moving forward and for our future. Even though he won us that Super Bowl, and I'll be forever thankful for all his time in the Packers organization, it most likely will not be beneficial for Aaron Rodgers to come back. But back to the game, as I was saying, Aaron Jones, very costly fumble from him. Fifth one on the season, tied for the most in the league. We need to see better ball security from him. And I'm scared because that fumble may have lost his job in Green Bay. I've said it multiple times in Packer Talk that he is a cap casualty this next year, and there's a good chance that the Packers tried to trade him away or they cut him straight up, just cut him. Um, I didn't think it was going to happen with how well he's been playing. He had a career year as far as yards and rushing. I didn't think it was going to happen, but Aaron Jones has that fumble, man. That fumble. It really worries me. Um, yeah. Christian Watson had an incredible game. He played really well, but it just wasn't good enough. Romeo Dobbs had two drops. The first one, Aaron Rodgers kind of missed him, but it was a catchable ball. The second time, it was a absolute incredible pass from Aaron Rodgers that Romeo Dobbs just completely dropped. Um, I'm looking forward to Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs moving forward. Hopefully, they both do better in their second season. They grow from this year. But the drops are very concerning between these two. Even though Christian Watson has been playing great these past 7 games, 8 games, he still has had drops. He still hasn't looked great. He's a rookie, so you can excuse those things and hope that things he'll work those type of errors out. But it is very concerning moving forward. Now, to talk about the two biggest screw ups in this game, Rasul Douglas and Quay Walker. Both of these guys made stupid bonehead mistakes. Rasul Douglas, I know a lot of you guys were very confused on the play. I was confused watching it, where the Lions are kicking the field goal and Rasul Douglas comes up and slaps the ball away. What happened? What was going on there? He said, and I figured out during the game that the Packers were calling a timeout, and he just didn't want to let the Lions get a free kick, so he was going to knock the ball out of there just so they couldn't get a free kick, because we were calling a timeout. Um, so that's technically within the rules, and from what I know. But the penalty came afterwards when the Lions, I don't know his name, but he's one of their offensive linemen, pushed him. And it doesn't matter about the first guy; it matters about the guy who retaliates. And Rasul Douglas basically punches him right in the face in the helmet. Stupid bonehead play. He's lucky he didn't get ejected for that thing. He's most likely going to get fined for that punch, that slap. It's stupid bonehead plays like that. The Lions had missed from that range earlier in the game, and that gave them a free 15 yards to make it easier field goal before the half ends. There's a chance that even if they kicked from that far, they may have made it, but you can't be making it easier on the Lions, right? You can't be doing that type of mistakes. And then in the fourth quarter, it was one of the Lions' last drives. Quay Walker, after DeAndre Swift went down on a tackle, he was hurt. The Lions training staff goes out to help him. Two of them are looking at him. Quay Walker and DeAndre Wyatt were both looking at him. They're teammates with Swift in Georgia, so they know him. They were just worried about him. And one of the Lions training staff comes in and just kind of moves Quay Walker to the side. Quay Walker completely overreacts and pushes him. It's not a push that hurt the training staff at all or did anything really, but end of the day, it was unsportsmanlike. It was disgusting to see. And definitely do not like from Quay Walker not being able to control his anger. The second time this season that he's been ejected from a game. The first time came against the Bills when he was on. It was a play out of bounds. He ended up on the Bills sideline, and one of the Bills, I think, practice team players was trying to help him or something. Quay Walker overreacted, thought he was trying to push him. He turns around and pushes the guy. He got ejected from that game also. It's stupid bonehead mistakes coming from Quay Walker. He's great on the field. He plays very well for a rookie. And I'm looking forward to his future with the Packers, but I do not like these type of plays from our Packer players. In my opinion, and there's been like certain circumstances where we've done certain things. But I've always thought the Packers have played with class. They've always played with integrity, and they don't do uh, cheap shot plays like that. And they did. It was really, really disappointing to see from both of those guys, and DeAndre Wyatt also shoved, kind of like elbowed that training staff right after Quay Walker pushed him. He's most likely going to get a fine from that. Also, um, it's really just disgusting to see, in my opinion. I do not condone any of these actions. I do not like them. After the game, Matt LaFleur has had many press conferences, and he has come out and taken a lot of blame for the season. He has said that Joe Barry will not be fired, which is extremely disappointing. Even though that we've played well these past 5 weeks and the defense has played a lot better, I still don't think it excuses for the other 12 games where our defense looked atrocious. Even though that the Packers, have spent more money on defense, we spent second most in the league on defense, the second most, and we are in the 20th to 30th percentile, or in place in most defensive stats. It's really disappointing, and I think someone needs to take blame for that. Whether it's Joe Barry, him not putting his players in the right circumstances, which is where I feel like the blame is, or it goes on Gutekunst, our GM. And I think if it's not on Joe Barry, then it's on our GM. He's the one that paid all these big contracts. He put the money on the defense. He should have spent his money better. If it's not Joe Barry, if Joe Barry's getting all the talent he can get out of these guys, then that's Gutekunst's fault. Or if it falls on the head coach, Matt LaFleur needs to take full responsibility. Now, there's some Packer fans out there that are saying Matt LaFleur should be fired because of the season. I completely disagree. He has had 3 13-win seasons. Just one bad season is not enough to write him off. Once we have the post Aaron Rodgers era and we can see what Matt LaFleur is able to do without Aaron Rodgers, if we don't see what we want out of him, then yes, let's move on from Matt LaFleur. Let's fire him. Let's move on. But I think it's way too early to fire him. It is just not smart. It's showing no loyalty. I am not a fan of it. We just signed him to an extension. You do not find Matt LaFleur, even though I am disappointed with him after this year. And I'm going to end the video on this. The most concerning thing, obviously, there's Aaron Rodgers. What happens with him? But the most concerning thing is the NFC North. We have run the North for the past 10, 12 plus years of the Aaron Rodgers Packers just absolutely dominating the NFC North. There's a few years here and there that the Bears may win it or the Vikings may win it. But this just feels a little bit different in my opinion. The Vikings, even though I call them frauds and I don't like a lot about them, I don't believe in them as much as other people do. They look like a good team that can at least compete in games, at the very least. Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, I like their head coach, Kevin O'Connell. I think they got a lot of good things going over there, even though I think they're going to get destroyed in the playoffs. I think they're a huge competition for us moving forward in the NFC North. And then you have the Lions, the MCDC Lions. These were the laughingstock of the league 2 years ago. Last year, they weren't very good either. And then this year, they started 1-6 and they fought back. They were gritty. They are a team that constantly fights. And that's because MCDC leads them to do that. And they missed the playoffs this year, but they kept the Packers out. And I think they have a very good shot next year making the playoffs. And this one hurts me probably the most is the Chicago Bears. Now, I'm not a Justin Fields believer. I don't really see what other people see in Justin Fields that they see. He is a incredibly talented runner. Do not get me wrong. Dude is amazing. He is spectacular. He's a very good running quarterback. But the passing quarterback, it has not shown to me. It has not translated to the field. He is not that good of a passer, and I don't think he's ever going to be that good of a passer. Now, you could say he doesn't have the weapons, he doesn't have the tools to become a passer, and that's why he has to constantly run. But I also haven't seen him be very accurate. I haven't seen him be able to hit the deep ball and be accurate with the football. And until I see that, I'm not going to believe in this guy. But the thing with the Chicago Bears is they have by far the most cap space to spend this free agency. Any free agent, if they want him and if they want to spend the money, they can go get him. They have all the money in the world to get whoever and whatever they want in free agency time. And now they have the first overall pick in the NFL draft. The very first overall pick. Now, they're probably not going to spend it on a quarterback like the idiots they are, but they're going to get a hell of a player. And thank God that they traded away their second overall pick, the 32nd pick, for Chase Claypool. What freaking idiots they are. But the Bears have a very good opportunity to really build this team for the coming seasons. It is very concerning looking forward for the Chicago Bears. If their head coach and their GM play this right, they could be one of the best teams in the NFC in a few years. We've seen it. We've seen it with other teams happen before, so it can definitely is in their cards. So NFC North, it is up for grabs. The Packers, they're bleeding. They're bleeding out right now. Aaron Rodgers, you don't know what's going to happen with him. And after that, Jordan Love, I trust and I believe that he can be a good quarterback. But there's also the huge if that he's not. He's not a good quarterback. He's not what we expected him to be. He's not what we invested him to be. And we're stuck in the water, and we might be one of the worst teams in the NFC North. That's the reality of things. I very much hope it does not happen. I hope we go from Hall of Fame to Hall of Fame to Hall of Fame quarterback with Jordan Love. But it's going to be a huge stretch for that to happen. But I am very excited for this free agency. I'm going to be breaking it all down from draft picks to free agency. Who are we going to lose? How are we going to get underneath the cap? And all that type of stuff. So stay tuned to Not So Pro Packer Talk every Wednesday at 5 p.m. And I'll see you guys there. Other than that, go Pack Go.